We're ranking South Park characters by intelligence, and I know what you're thinking. These are cartoon kids who've been in 4th grade for like 25 years, but hear me out. Some of these characters are actually way smarter than you'd think, and some of them, well, they're Randy Marsh. Let's kick this off with Stan. Good old regular Stan Marsh. Now I've got him at somewhat intelligent, and here's the thing about Stan. He's not a genius, right? He's not Kyle. But Stan has this really solid common sense thing going for him that honestly puts him above average. Think about it. Throughout the series, Stan is usually the voice of reason. When everyone else is losing their minds over some ridiculous situation, Stan's the one who steps back and goes, wait, this is stupid. He's got emotional intelligence too, which people don't always factor in when they think about being smart. Like, he can read a room. He understands when things are getting out of hand. There's that whole episode where he becomes a cynical asshole and everything literally looks like shit to him. That's actually showing us that Stan has a deeper level of awareness than most people around him. He sees through the BS in society, he questions things. That takes intelligence. But here's why he's not higher on the list. Stan can be really impulsive sometimes. He follows along with bad ideas from his friends pretty easily. He's not always thinking 3 steps ahead. And honestly, he gets way too emotional about stuff sometimes, which clouds his judgment. Remember when he became a goth kid? Or when he couldn't get over Wendy? Please. Smart people can still make dumb decisions when feelings get involved, and Stan proves that, like every other episode. Now we get to Kyle. And Kyle is straight up intelligent, not somewhat, not average. Intelligent. Kyle is consistently the smartest kid in the main group, and it's not even close most of the time. This is the kid who actually thinks about moral philosophy. He doesn't just know right from wrong, he can articulate why something is right or wrong. He constructs actual arguments. When he gets into it with Cartman, he's not just yelling, he's breaking down logical fallacies and ethical problems. Remember the Passion of the Jew episode? Carl is analyzing religious text and historical context while everyone else is just going along with Mel Gibson's crazy movie. Or that Imagination episode where he's the one who actually figures out the philosophical problem they're dealing with. The kid reads books, he thinks critically. Carl's also really good at problem solving under pressure. When South Park gets into some weird situation, which is basically every episode, Carl's usually the one coming up with the actual plan that makes sense. He's strategic, he thinks things through. But why isn't he in a genius tier if we had one? Well, Carl has got blind spots. His emotions can override his logic, especially when it comes to Cartman. He gets so heated that he stops thinking straight, and sometimes his moral righteousness makes him stubborn. He'll stick to a position even when maybe he should be flexible. Smart people can still be stubborn, and Kyle definitely is, oh boy, Cartman. This is where people are going to disagree with me, but I'm putting him at somewhat intelligent, same tier as Stan. Now hold on, before you freak out. Yes, Cartman has pulled off some absolutely genius level schemes. The kid got a kid to eat his own parents. He manipulated an entire cult. He's created elaborate revenge plots that would make supervillains jealous. So why isn't he higher? Because intelligence isn't just about being able to do smart things sometimes, it's about consistency and application, and Cartman uses his smarts for the dumbest possible goals most of the time. He'll create this brilliant plan to get revenge over something completely petty and pointless. That's not intelligent decision making overall, that's just being clever in service of stupidity. Think about it like this. Cartman has high cunning intelligence, he's manipulative, he understands psychology really well, he can read people and exploit their weaknesses. Those are legitimately impressive skills, but he has almost zero practical intelligence. He fails at school constantly, he doesn't understand basic concepts. His long-term planning is terrible because he never thinks about consequences. Cartman's also completely delusional about himself, which shows a lack of self-awareness that truly intelligent people usually have. He thinks he's way more important and special than he is. He can't see his own flaws at all. That's not smart. Somewhat intelligent feels right for Cartman. He's too clever to be average, but he's too much of an idiot to be truly intelligent. Kenny lands right at average intelligence, and honestly, that feels about right. He's not dumb, but he's not particularly smart either. He's just a regular kid, which is fine. Most people are average. That's literally what average means. When we do see Kenny clearly, like in the Mysterion episodes, he's shown to be pretty street smart. He knows how to handle himself. He's aware of things going on in his crappy home life, but he's not shown to be exceptional academically or strategically. But we don't see him coming up with master plans. He's not the one solving the big problems usually. He kind of just goes along with whatever the group is doing. He's a follower more than a leader. That's not a knock on him, it's just reality. Average intelligence doesn't mean stupid, it means he's right in the middle of the bell curve. Alright, so Butters is in the dumb category, and man, I feel bad about this because I love Butters. Everyone loves Butters. But loving a character doesn't mean we can't be honest about their intelligence level. Butters is not smart. He's sweet, he's innocent, he's got a good heart, but the kid is dumb as a box of rocks. Cartman tricks him constantly with the most obvious lies, and Butters falls for it every single time. We're not talking about sophisticated manipulation here. Cartman will be like, "Hey, Butters, if you do this obviously terrible thing, something good will happen." And Butters just goes, "Oh, okay." He also has zero street smarts. None. The kid doesn't understand basic social dynamics. He can't read people at all. When someone's clearly making fun of him, he doesn't get it. He takes everything at face value, which would be sweet if it wasn't also kind of dumb. Now, some people might argue that Butters isn't dumb, he's just naive. And sure, he's extremely naive. But at a certain point, when you're that naive for that long and never learn from your experiences, that crosses over into actual lack of intelligence. Smart people learn from their mistakes. Butters just keeps making the same mistakes over and over. He also doesn't do well academically from what we see. He's not good at problem solving. When there's a crisis, Butters is usually panicking and making things worse, not helping fix anything. Randy Marsh is dumb. And unlike Butters, where it's kind of sad, Randy's stupidity is aggressive and chaotic and honestly dangerous. Book smarts and actual intelligence are not the same thing. You can memorize information and pass tests without actually being an intelligent person. And Randy proves this literally every time he's on screen. Randy has absolutely zero impulse control. None. He sees something shiny or interesting and just runs full speed at it without thinking for even 1 second about consequences. That's not intelligent behavior, that's toddler behavior. He also can't learn from his mistakes at all. He'll do something catastrophically stupid, face consequences, and then immediately do something equally stupid the next week. There's no pattern recognition happening in that brain. No growth, no development. Remember when he nuked South Park? Or when he started the pandemic special shenanigans? Or literally any episode centered around Randy where he becomes obsessed with something and takes it to an insane extreme? That's all lack of intelligence. An intelligent person would pump the brakes at some point and go, "Hey, maybe I'm going too far." Randy never has that moment. And the worst part, Randy thinks he's smart. He's got that Dunning-Kruger effect going hard. He'll confidently explain things that are completely wrong. He'll come up with these elaborate justifications for his behavior that make no sense. He's so dumb that he doesn't even know he's dumb. Alright, rest in peace to Chef. We're talking about original Chef here, before that whole weird Scientology thing ruined everything. Chef is somewhat intelligent, and honestly, he might be at the higher end of that tier. Chef was actually pretty wise in a lot of ways. He gave decent advice to the kids, he understood relationships and social dynamics, and he could hold down a job and function as a responsible adult, which already puts him above some people on this list. Chef had life experience and street smarts. When the kids came to him with problems, he usually had reasonable solutions. Sure, a lot of his advice came back to sex somehow, but underneath the humor, he was usually making sense. Chef was also kind of stuck in his ways. He had his worldview and didn't really expand beyond it much. Intelligent people tend to be more curious and open to new information. Chef was more set in his patterns, so somewhat intelligent feels right. Mr. Garrison is dumb, and honestly it's kind of concerning that this person was teaching children for so long. Now look, Mr. Garrison clearly has some education. He's a teacher, which means he had to go through college and get certified and all that. But again, having credentials doesn't equal being intelligent. And Garrison proves this constantly. The man has zero emotional regulation. He's completely unstable. He projects his personal issues onto everyone around him, including literal children. An intelligent person would have some self-awareness about this. Garrison has none. He also makes spectacularly bad life decisions constantly. His relationships are disasters. His career moves make no sense. Remember when he wrote that romance novel? Or when he became president? Everything he touches turns into chaos because he doesn't think things through. Garrison is also incredibly insecure, which makes him do dumb things constantly. He's so worried about what people think of him that he makes everything worse trying to prove himself. Intelligent people usually have enough confidence and self-awareness to not fall into that trap as badly. And let's talk about his teaching. The man is a terrible teacher. He doesn't actually educate the kids about anything useful. He goes off on personal tangents. He's inappropriate constantly. He doesn't have lesson plans that make sense. The fact that those kids learn anything is despite Garrison, not because of him. He's also super gullible and easily manipulated, which we see throughout the series. People can talk him into things pretty easily. He doesn't have strong critical thinking skills. Finally, we've got Mr. Mackey, and he lands right at average intelligence. McKay? Mr. Mackey is the school counselor, and he's fine at his job. Not great, not terrible, just fine. which pretty much sums up his intelligence level too. He's also pretty naive about how things actually work. He genuinely believes that his little anti-drug talks are making a difference. He thinks his posters and videos are effective. He doesn't seem to understand that kids see right through that stuff. That shows a lack of deeper awareness. But he's not dumb either. Mackie can function in society. He holds down a job. He follows social norms mostly. He can have normal conversations. He's just not exceptional in any way intellectually. He also gets caught up in South Park's craziness pretty regularly, but not as badly as the truly dumb characters. Like, he'll go along with some weird stuff, but he usually has moments where he questions it. He's got enough sense to be like, wait, this seems weird, even if he ends up going along with it anyway. Average intelligence means you're neither impressive nor concerning. You're just sort of there doing your thing, being normal. And that's Mr. Mackey. He's aggressively medium in every way, including intelligence. So that's the whole list. Stan and Cartman sitting at somewhat intelligent, Carl being the smart one of the group, Kenny right in the middle at average, and then our dumb category with Butters, Randy and Garrison, with Mackey also hanging out at average, and Chef rounding out the somewhat intelligent tier. Alright, that's it. Let me know in the comments if you agree or if you think I'm completely wrong about someone. I know the Cartman placement is going to be controversial, but I stand by it. See you in the next video.